Hi guys. My name's Kent Peterson. I'm a student at U of H, and I'm in the ELET 3405 class um, for microprocessor architecture. This video is going to go over assignment one, and it's pretty much a walkthrough of what we need to do in order to evaluate the performance of our computer. Here's the document that the professor uploaded, and for part one and two, that's pretty much you're gonna look up the information on the web, and you're going to do a little bit of research on the following sites that give performance evaluations on the processors for different systems. Here's a site that I have pulled up. It's one of the links that was in the document. It's called Passmark Software. And you're just going to search for your processor. This is just mine that I'm running right now. Um, It gives you a general overview of its performance and some specs about it, and it gives you a breakdown of your processor, which in this case I'm 27X, and some other ones, and it's just a good way to get some information on your CPU and others on the market. Um, if we continue with the document for part 3, that's where you're going to do some research, and there's 3 sites that give the breakdown of the performance. Um, you have to evaluate whether or not each one is open sourced or if it's its own kind of company, I guess you could say, that evaluates the CPUs and gives it that testing. For part 4, this is where we're going to start benchmarking your own computer. So everyone's results are going to be different because all of our systems have different kind of hardware. This is just going to be a general overview on how to go about this assignment and give you a visual representation of what you need to do in case you run into problems, and maybe this video will help you troubleshoot some issues along the way. I'm going to try to do this video in one part, so there's not really going to be a lot of editing. I might have to pause the video every now and then just because some of the benchmarking tests might take a long time. Um, but yeah, here we go. So for the beginning of the benchmarking, you're going to want to go to this website called phoronixtestsuite.com. I'm going to go ahead and open it right here. And up at the top, you're going to see this download button. Go ahead and click that. You want to select the installation that's needed for your computer. So they have Linux, Windows, and Ubuntu. I'm going to go ahead and do Windows. And you can see it's downloading down here. So I'll just give it a minute to finish. Okay, here on the desktop, I'm going to go ahead and open it. Depending on what you use to extract archives on your computer, I have WinRAR. You could have the Windows one. Um, it just depends what you use. So go ahead and extract the package. If you need help on this process, let me know. It's giving you a folder right here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this package. I'm going to open the folder, and here's the information that's inside of it. I'm going to go ahead and put that over there. The next thing it says, okay, so I extracted the folder. So now it says it wants us to go ahead and open Windows PowerShell. So down here, you're going to click on the little Windows icon. We're going to type in PowerShell. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this first one, the ISE. Go ahead and right click it and run as administrator so it doesn't give you any privilege rights. Or so it does let you have rights to it, sorry. Go ahead and click yes. So we are presented with the Windows PowerShell. And let's see, we need to change the directory. So we're going to go ahead and type in cd we're gonna have to find. Let me see. You need to find the directory folder where the Phoronix test suite is installed. So in this case, let me see here. Okay, so just a walkthrough. When you go ahead and open this folder that you extracted, that you downloaded, um, you're going to be presented with all these options. Up here at this little search bar thing, if you right click it, do copy address, and then in your PowerShell window, you're going to, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type in cd space, and then you're going to paste what you copied from over here. That's basically just your folder directory. So once you paste that, press enter, and now it's going to be, your PowerShell is going to be pointed at the directory folder of all this. So the next thing you're going to do once you do that is you're going to type in you're going to type in start space and then this Phoronix test suite .bat. That's a batch file, and what that's going to do is it's going to point to this folder and it's going to start the program. Let me see over here. So that's basically it. Opened this command window, and in my case I got presented with the Visual C++, so I need to go ahead and install that. Setup successful, okay. Close it. So now it wants you to accept if you agree or disagree to the user license agreement. We're going to go ahead and press Y for yes. Enable anonymous usage. It's up to you. You can either do yes or no. I'm going to go ahead and do no just so I can send my stats. Choose a download site. So I'm guessing all these sites contain what we need. You can go ahead and pick either one. We'll go ahead and do the first one next. It's downloading information that we need. Here's all the packages we need. So go ahead and select the main directory. Press next. Next. Depending on your internet speed and your processors, might take a while. We're going to go ahead and press finish. So now that that's done, we're going to come back to our PowerShell. And the next step it says is we want to type in the command start Phoronix test suite shell. So start Phoronix dash test dash suite shell. So that's going to go ahead and open up another command box. Okay, so it gives us some generalized specs right here. You should see some information about your system. So in this case, here's the BIOS version I'm running. Here's some info about my monitor, motherboard, memory. So I got 2 sticks of 16 gig. This number right here, 3200, that's your memory speed. And here's some info about your hard drives that you're running, the file system type, what kind of OS you're running, stuff like that. So the next thing it says is check the specs of the computer you're evaluating by typing interactive and pressing enter. So interactive, enter. So again, here's some specs about your computer. Now type 4 and press enter. So command 4 shows the system hardware, software information. So we're going to go ahead and press 4, enter. Okay, system information, record device specifications. So you're going to go ahead and just note down this information, I guess, for when you turn in your assignment. Everyone's is going to be different, so don't necessarily go by what mine says. This is just a walkthrough. Testing the comprehensive CPU test. This will take a couple hours to run. So what this is going to do is it's going to stress test your CPU, and it's going to give you an overall score, kind of like what Passmark does. So in my case, the Ryzen 7 2700X. Here's the clock speed, what it turbos up to. This 3.7 is the base, 4.3 is the boost. It's an octa-core CPU, 105 watts TDP. So we should see somewhere around the 17,000 mark. We'll see if it lines up with what we benchmark. So let's see. Choose option, run a suite, option 2 by default. So like it says, this is option 2. So we're going to go ahead and press 2, enter. Okay. Let's see. So now it wants us to select an option. So we need to run the test CPU, option 8 by default. So in this case, CPU is option 9. So we're going to go, you need to find where yours says CPU and enter the number. In my case it'd be 9, yours might be different. Go ahead and press enter. It's downloading the programs that it needs to do. This might take a while, so I will go ahead and pause. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay, so in my case, we're going to go ahead and let this finish running. It says estimated download time 5 minutes. Yours might vary depending on your internet connection. If you leave it running for a while and it's been more than 5 minutes, you can go ahead and check if your network activity is even doing anything. Um, Go ahead and open up Task Manager. So go to Windows, type in Task, click on Task Manager. Over here on, let's see, yours might look like this to begin with. Go ahead and click More Details. And then up at the top, click Performance and Ethernet. Yours might say Internet or Wi-Fi. I'm hardwired, so that's the option I have. And you should basically see activity. If you go ahead and see activity, then that means it's downloading or doing something. So we're going to go ahead and close out of that. See, so now it's continuing to do some tests and downloads. I'm going to go ahead and let it run. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and let the test complete, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. We're still waiting up for Blender to finish up. I just wanted to give you guys a breakdown of what these programs do. So Stockfish is basically a UCI chess program. X264 is a compression algorithm used for encoding and decoding video streams. Uh, Compression 7-zip is a compression program used to reduce the amount of storage on your hard drive when you're packing and unzipping program files. And Blender is a GPU stress test software that evaluates the performance of your GPU. So we're still waiting up on Blender to finish up. It's 5 out of 6 installation files. It says the 4 files needed, 1,165 megabytes. That's around a gig that it's downloading. We're going to go ahead and wait a little bit. I will try to go ahead and put some timestamps in the description for you guys if you want to skip around. So we're still on step C of our test right now. It's still downloading the tests that it needs to be done. So we're doing our CPU tests right now, and we're letting it run, and it should give us the option to save our results. So when this finishes up, I will go ahead and resume the video, and we can go from there. Okay guys, I just wanted to come back and clarify. So my command prompt, when it was downloading the files, it was on the Blender part of it, was downloading the Blender test, and it was probably 15-20 minutes passed by and it didn't seem to be moving. I went ahead and closed out of this, and I went to the directory folder of the Phoronix test, and I went ahead and verified, so it was 223 megabytes out of 507. So it was downloading. It for some reason takes a long time to download that file. I'm gonna go ahead and show you where you can find that. Depending where you, let me see, depending where you installed the folder. So in my case, I just installed it to the desktop. Um, Actually, no, this wasn't it. Hold on, give me 1 second. So you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna go to your C drive and users, select what account you're under. And so in my case, it's the Phoronix test suite. And there's a folder called installed test. And you should have a total of 5 tests that it's downloading. Since I went ahead and closed out of this, it already verified that I had 3 out of the 5. So right now it's finishing. It's gonna finish downloading the Blender test along, I believe. Let's see. Along with the ASM fish test. So it might take a while. Just go ahead and leave it, and I'll let you know what happens. So one little trick that you guys can do if you're waiting for the Blender test to finish downloading and you don't know if it's like stuck or if it froze or whatever, um, is go to your C directory on your hard drive, navigate to the Phoronix test suite, installed tests, PTS, and go to the Blender folder, and whatever it's currently downloading, so in my case it's downloading the cycles benchmark, it's a total of 507 megabytes. It doesn't really give you a progress indicator on the command box. So if you navigate to the folder, so right here it says it's 219 megabytes. Um, if you just keep an eye on it, so 219, if I go back, refresh, see it's still 219. Well, I guess this hasn't updated. It says 223. There you go, refresh, 228. So it's going to be a little bit variation just because of compression and stuff that Windows does. Just keep an eye on it, and that should kind of give you an estimate of, how close it is to finishing up. It it is a total of 507 megabytes, so it's about half done. Um, yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. So the test just finished downloading. I guess it went ahead and ran the tests itself. The Blender one took the longest, probably like an hour for like a total of 618 megabytes, and then these other ones like finished pretty quick. Let me pull up the document here really quick. So we are on part C, section 3. Okay, so it's gonna ask you if you want to save the results. Down here, would you like to save these test results? Go ahead and press Y for yes. Enter a name for the result file. You can name it what you want. I'm just gonna name it performance test results. So I think, yeah, so right now it's go ahead and it's performing the tests right now. If you click on CPU, you can see utilization's around 90%. Processes, so these are currently the tasks that are operating. I can hear my PC fan ramping up. 100% utilization. So it's running the tests right now, and when it's complete, it's going to go ahead and save the results to the file. Let me go back here to C directory, test results. So it's compiling all the test results, and it's going to go ahead and put it in this folder. It's going to do a series of 6 tests. It's going to be like an hour and 13 minutes to finish these results. So depending on your computer and how many cores you have, whether or not you have hyper-threading, stuff like that, it might take a little longer. It might take less time if you have a more powerful computer. This is just an estimate, so this is an octa-core, and it's going to be like an hour and 13 minutes. So I'll go ahead and let this do its job, and when it's finished, I'll come back and we can go from there. Okay, the test's finished. It's now doing the last one on the Blender test. So now it's going to be benchmarking the GPU. This one is going to be a longer test. So far it's about 20 minutes on my setup to complete 5 out of 6 tests. So let's go ahead and let this 6th one finish, and we'll see what it shows. So I said earlier that Blender benchmarks your GPU. There is a version that does the GPU, but for this test, it's CPU only. Since on part C we're benchmarking, what did I do? Since on part C we're benchmarking CPU only, so this correlates with what we selected, and it's only computing the CPU test, as you can see here. We're probably getting close to this Blender test completing. You can see the CPU is pegged at 100%, and memory utilization's around 14 gigabytes. We'll go ahead and continue to let this test run. Blender test just finished up. All 6 tests took about 50 minutes to complete. You can see the CPU's winding down. So those results should be saved in the C directory Phoronix test suite file. Sorry, the folder. Test results. So here's some graphs, system logs. So it gives you some info right there. I guess let's do... Okay, we'll mess with that later. So going back to this, we just finished up test C. Part C, sorry. So now it wants us to evaluate the computer using the chess test. So going back to the command prompt, we're going to put in number 2 to run a suite. Sorry. And let's see. Choose chess option, which it says number 2. So in this case it's number 3. Yours might be different. 3. Again, it's going to download program. This one went really quick. Would you like to save these test results? Press Y for yes. Enter a name for the result file. So we're going to type in chess results. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, our ASM fish test has finished, and the results were saved in the C directory folder as the other ones were. The next thing we want to do, part E, is we're going to evaluate the input-output of the computer. So again, we're going to go ahead and do number 2, and this time it wants us to do network. So in the instruction it says option 33, but on mine network is number 35. So just select the one that corresponds to network on your command prompt. It's going to go ahead and pull up, I guess, this program. So go ahead and install it to your C directory. Install. Finish. Went ahead and finished the network test. So again, we're going to go ahead and save these files. Enter a name for the results. Network results. So there's going to be 19 tests. Test run did not produce a result. Let me go ahead and check something. Okay, I think I installed it in the wrong spot. close out of this. Go back into PowerShell. Start Phoronix dash test dash shell. It's going to open up Phoronix test suite. If you did the same error I did, I think I installed it to the wrong directory. On step E it says to run and save it to the C directory Phoronix test suite. So I'm just going to go ahead and uninstall that program that it installed when I first opened it. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to PowerShell, type in interactive, do number 2 to run a suite, and let's see. That's weird. So number 35 and 60 are both network. I guess let's try number 60 this time. Okay, so here again, there's that program. This time, I'm going to install it under the C directory, Phoronix test suite. So let's navigate. Okay, let's try that. Would you like to save these test results? Y for yes. Network results. No, same thing. Guess we're gonna go ahead and let it run and see what it puts out. Okay, so I kept getting errors on the network side, the network tests. Yours might be a little different. So for that part, I Don't really know why I'm getting the errors. It might have something to do with my ports being forwarded. Not really too sure. You might get different results. So going to the next part, it says go to stackoverflow.com and pull the code for the Pi calculator. So they give you this VHDL code. At least I think it's VHDL. So it wants you to go ahead and copy this code and modify it to be able to calculate the time. And then it says use auto start equals std chrono system clock now. And then it wants you current clock at the start of the program and at the stop of the program. Calculate the duration. So go ahead and you want to click on this link, copy and paste this code, modify it, and print the output. And then for the results that we got, for the performance tests on part C and part D, we're going to go ahead and take those results and represent them in a table of a graph, analyze the results, write your own conclusions, and don't forget to answer part 1, 2, and 3. Hope you liked the video. Go ahead and like it if it helped, dislike it if it didn't help, subscribe if you like tech videos, comment down below if you need any help, and I will see you guys next time.